All right, folks, there we go. Now, I'm not sure what happened there, why it cut us out, but we're here. I don't understand why Streamlabs did what it did, but craziness. We're rolling around here on the Speedway. You see the number 10 down there on track. That is the 10 of Greg Spiker. What a great field of drivers here tonight as we get set to rock and roll. As we said, unsure exactly what happened there to the original thing. Hopefully everybody finds us okay. I said I don't get it. Somehow it shut the stream down. It should not have at all. And we come here off of corner number 4, back out onto that front stretch. Liam Beebe laying down your quick time so far in that number 83. Now Matthew Radford there out front. Let's get this so we can see what their times are. There we go. With a 51.577 for Matthew. Liam Beebe there with a 51.633. You can see qualifying times down there on the bottom of on the bottom side of the Speedway. Or, I'm sorry, not on the Speedway, but of your screen. You can see down there Brian Hennings, Matthew Barker, Mike Presley, all down there working on their lap times, trying to see what type of positions they can grab. As they come here across the stripe, there you see Liam Beebe in the 83, not able to get any quicker, as it looks like Matthew Radford takes a flying shot there. As he's got a time of 51.468. Johnny Hurst, what a time by him in that number 3 machine as he gets up there into second with a 51.495. Try to see who else is out on track here. There we see the Little Caesars machine. I believe that's the 61 here of Chris Schosler coming to a stop. Schosler there with a 51.635. Wagner, Fielder, Richards all have yet to qualify. As I said, I'm unsure exactly what happened there. And it looks like Pylan's gone down there. He's got a 52.398 at the moment. But he jumps up into the grid with a 51.472. Brian Hennings, your quick time right now with a there you see Chris Ramsey coming into the pits. Matt Barker up there in third with a 51.465. Tim Richardson with a 51.460. Brian Hennings with a 51.549. And we got to look at Jeff Scott now as Jeff Scott comes around. First lap being a 54.553. What type of lap can he lay down here this second time? He's got a green mark through the Sector 1. What can he do here coming off of Turn 4 for Sector 2? Off the bottom of the racetrack, trying to see if he can gain any little bit as he's way down there below the yellow. Rolling down through there, it's a 51.5 for Pilot. Jeff Scott. So, all right, now with that out of the way, now we're getting here to the nitty-gritty of the start of the race tonight. Brian Hennings will lead you off out there in the pole position. Out to his outside of that row number 1, it's going to be Tim Richardson starting second. Row number 2, inside, in third, that's going to be Matthew Barker as he rolls off of that number 96 machine in third. Matthew Radford on his outside there in fourth, driving that number 97 machine. In that third row, inside, is going to be Rowdy in that number 29 with Johnny Hurst there to his outside in sixth. Row number 4, that's going to be Mike Presley in 7th with Chad Hawkins there in 8th. Teresa Spiker back there in 9th inside row number 5 with Chris Ramsey to her outside in 10th. Row number 6, that's going to be Jerome Cooper with Ryan Hunter to his outside there in 12th. In 13th here tonight inside row number 7, that's Greg Spiker with the Liam Beebe out there in 14th. Jake Priscilla out there in 15th, inside row number 8 with Justin Hollings to his outside, starting there in 16th. Chris Schosler starting in 17th tonight with Jeff Scott in 18th. 19th going to be Benjamin Richards. That's inside row number 10 with Eric Copperthorne out there on the outside, starting in 20th. Edward Fiedler back there in 21st. That's inside row number 11 with Adam Sprinkle there in 22nd. And that's outside. Inside row number 8. Gonna be, I'm sorry, no, row number 12, I'm sorry, row number 12. Tony Richards with James Wagoner at the outside in 24. And that'll be your starting grid here tonight. 24 drivers set to take the grid here as we get off and rolling. Lights are out on that pace car, waiting just on a few more drivers that finally taking the grid there. I think we're waiting on possibly Fiedler, Sprinkle, Richards, and Wagner, possibly. I'm unsure. Now, it looks like Wagner's out there, Tony Richards out there, so just some speculation there. I'm unsure what's going on here. All right, down the back stretch they go. Brian Hennings out there in front, that number 74 machine for Roughneck Racing. I see Tim Richardson there in second. He is outside. We got that Mustang Pace machine out front leading us off here tonight. I think I see Mellow Yellow sponsored machine back there as that 13 machine sitting in ninth. A lot of great looking cars as always. All right, come rolling off here. James Wagner back here. That purple and black machine, Benjamin Richards. Not seen Benjamin Richards. Have to see how well this plays out. Rolling down here off of the corner, getting ready for the green flag. 50 laps is the distance tonight. What type of racing action will we see? Any different from the next gens that we saw here last week, as we were at Talladega last week here, but brought the next gens. Here we're running Gen 4s tonight. Now we get set around here through the front straightaway. Green flag is out there, getting on that loud pedal down here through the front straightaway they go. As we see a few cars blinking out towards the back of the field there. We'll see if they get caught up here. Down here in the corner number 1 they go. You got the 70 there of Teresa Spiker down there on the inside. There's the 84 of Chad Hawkins up there on the outside as he's trying to get that some side draft going in that Budweiser machine. Down here through the back straightaway. It's still Tim Richardson trying to hang on to that lead up on the outside lane as that outside lane's getting that groove running as they got the 2, the 97, and the 3 all running in that top lane. There you see Teresa right there with Chris Ramsey to her outside and that number 13. Down in the corner number 3 and 4 they go. Side by side, everybody looking good here as they roll off the corner. Down that back straightaway, that inside lane now pulling away. There you see with Richardson out front. Matthew there in second. Brian Hennings there third. Up there on that outside still sits at 3 of Johnny Hurst. As Johnny Hurst couldn't quite get down there to that bottom side, so now they're side-by-side racing down here in the corner number 1 and 2 as they work back onto that backstretch. Everybody trying to fight for a position here. Rolling down through here. There you see the 17 down there on the inside. I believe it was the 17. Otherwise, that was the... Oh, boy, I'm getting my numbers confused here, and my left eye's not wanting to cooperate at the moment, so just bear with me as I try to catch car numbers and names. We roll here off at 2. Or I'm sorry, no, that should be off at 4. Coming back out here into that tri-oval. There you see him 3 wide there towards the back. And we've got a chromed out car. That's the chromed out number 7 of Justin Hollings, if I'm looking at everything correct. I would see a 48 back there of Jake Brasilia in that Lowe's machine. Now, it looks like Benjamin Richards did not take the grid. We'll take a look at that as they come across the ticker there on the top side of your screen. On down here in the corner, numbers 3 and 4. I believe I'm not mistaken. Yeah, here they come out of 4. Down to that front straightaway once again. Now we're back up here with the leaders. Side by side. Great run so far by these drivers here tonight. Did you see that Aflac machine up there on the outside lane? That is the 97 of Matthew Ratford. I got that Dallas Cowboys painted machine up there leading the race right now of Tim Richardson. Always interesting to watch these guys and their paint schemes. I know that that number 2 is not one I would choose, only because I live here in PA and I'm a little bit of an Eagles fan, so that's a little bit of a rival to us here. Them Dallas Cowboys, as we roll down here, through off the front straightaway down in the tri-oval. We're looking there at the 44, the 84 there, also the 3 of Johnny Hurst, all up in the mix. Just pretty much waiting patiently for their time to strike as they roll down here off of turn number 2, back out onto that backstretch. Everybody trying just to keep their nose clean. Now we go 3 wide there with the 97. They're in the middle lane. Not quite where he wants to be this early in the race, I'm sure. Now we still got quite a bit of racing to go. 50 laps of distance. That 97 there up Matt Ratford. And oh no, we got Teresa Spiker going around. Barely missing that inside safer barrier. Ends up down there on the bottom side of the racetrack. Caution is out. See if we can see what happened here with the 70 as they come down through. Working off the corner here. Almost going 4 wide, it looks like, with the 38 there of Jeff Scott. Or no, I'm sorry, that's the 30. Oh, no, that's a Wagner getting into the bottom side of it. Just 61, nowhere to go. Getting picked up by Jake Brasilia, getting punted forward. And spun off the nose of the 48. The 61 going down there and skating across the inside. Back up against the wall. Damage there to the nose of that 61 machine. Everybody rolls there off the front. Man, and Teresa, as we saw, barely missing that inside safer barrier. What a start there. Lap number 5. First caution of the evening here at Talladega in the Gen 4s in the James Wagoner Welding Super Speedway Series. Let's go ahead and take our first commercial break here of the evening.
Roughneck Racing would like to thank our sponsor, Wagoner Welding. Wagoner Welding is a family-owned and operated business located in North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. They specialize in custom-built truck beds and framework of all types. You can reach them at 336-670-3427 or visit the shop located at 446 DeHart Church Road.
All right, here we go. Rolling off pit road. 17, getting a great start there, but that's what's confusing me. The 44 of Presley is the 17 machine on the track. Matthew Ratford stayed out. Ryan Hunter stayed out. Liam Beebe there in third. Brian Hennings coming there off of pit road, along with Tim Richardson, Jimmy Pilan. Got the 44 of Mike Presley, Matthew Parker. 72 of Jerome Cooper, Johnny Hurst back there in 10th. Man, what we got going on here? As caution is out for the first time. Everybody get lined back up as we get set to roll here. Matthew Bradford, your front runner. Ryan Hunter there in second. Liam Beebe there third. Brian Henning sitting there fourth. Got Tim Richardson in at number 2 down there on the inside. He's going to be rolling off in 5th right now. That Reese's Machine Pilot going to be up there in 6th. Now, everybody else trying to get in line. 96 in 7th position. Not sure why he's up on the top side of the racetrack. Unless he's supposed to be in 8th, and the bottom side isn't caught up where it's supposed to be. Which very well could be a possibility. There we go. Now we're getting lined up. Now they close the gap. There's the 44 of Mike Presley comes up there into a spot. Now we're on board here with Mike Presley out of Knoxville, Tennessee. All right, green flag back in the air. We get our sponsors laid back out to where they're supposed to be. Brian Hunter out there in front. Cameras here tonight being brought to you by Track Cams. You'll find links to that down there in the description of the video. As we work here off of turn number 2, that number 74, Brian Hennings, working that top side of that bottom lane, being led along by Ryan Hunter. Down there on the inside here, down in through turn 3 and 4. Heading back into that tri-oval. Working down here towards the start-finish line. Through turn 3 and 4. Oh, I'm sorry, no, 1 and 2. What am I saying here? 1 and 2 back out on that backstretch. We're on board with Ryan Hunter out of Frankfurt. Everybody's just side by side at the moment, just trying to hang on. Make the most out of their race. And I'm seeing we got maybe about 3 drivers out. Ryan Hunter. No, Ryan Hunter's there. Oh boy, we're going to start this again, aren't we? Don't pay attention to who's out and who's in. The only one that is confirmed out of the race is that of Benjamin Richards. Everybody else is still in the battle trying to run here tonight. Unsure why we got a few of them blinking out towards the back there. I know there's some upgrades I want to do to the PC at some point. All right, down here through the backstretch. 3 wide now as we get rolling. As we got that number 74 there in the middle, that's Brian Hennings trying to make something happen in that middle lane. And up here on the top lane, I thought I saw the 3 there. But I'm sorry, that's the 90. No, that's the 29. I'm sorry, 29 there of Jimmy Pilot up there with the 3. Now we got a couple of them looking to see if they might want to jump up there, but just not yet. The 27 there out front of that bottom lane as Brian Hennings is up there in that middle lane right now. He's got with them Barker as they come here alpha 2. Back out on that backstretch. Whoa, hang on to it. Everybody everywhere. That looks like the 61 ended up there into the outside wall a little bit of Chris Schulzler. And that little Caesar's machine. They work down here through off the backstretch. In through turn 3 and 4. Back around here to the front stretch. And hang on to it there. That was Justin Hollings now having an issue coming off of turn number 4. Up there, snugged into that outside wall. And it comes storming down through here. In the corner number 1 they go. Look at Wagner go. He's moving himself up through the pack. He's up there on the outside lane. He's now going to dunk back inside behind the 3 of Johnny Hurst as they roll here off a 2 out onto that back stretch here for another time as they roll down here. Looks like we got that 2 back there trying to make headway as well. He's down 15 spots from where he started. Jeff Scott, though, what a move by him so far as he is up 14 spots. James Wagner, he's up 15 spots as he's making another move down there to the inside to try to get around the 3 of Johnny Hurst as they work off a 4 back down here out onto that front stretch. He's got himself clear up there into about 7th position right now. Wagner still gaining positions as he's fighting his way up through the pack. 3 wide there for about 8th, 9th, and 10th. Now we see the 83 down there in 10th position. That is on the bottom side. The 10th of Craig Spiker, he's up there on the top side. Now he dropped back there to 10th. As Johnny Hurst, he's clear on the outside of the racetrack in 9th. They try to work around that 38 machine of Jeff Scott. Still battling out. Real close up there on the high side and real tight there with the 10 there in the middle lane of Greg Spiker. They roll here now off a turn number 4. Back out there onto the front stretch. Wagner, they're up there in about 9th position now. Now it's showing 8th, so he's still fighting for bat replacement. He now goes clear to the outside lane behind that number 3 of Johnny Hurst. Pushing along up there on that clear outside lane. Who's going to go up there to maybe be with them? Now they're making some headway now up there on that outside lane out here off of 2. Wagner, Doogie up there into that outside wall, coming there off of 2. Hopefully not going to hurt them too much as they are staggered coming down that backstretch. Now we got more joining in on that top lane, coming there in the corner number 3 and 4. Hang on to it. You got a real tight racing right now as they're trying to get that side draft working where they can. Now we're here on lap number 16 of the 50 to complete. Soon to be 16 in the books as they come through the tri-oval, heading towards that stripe. Yeah, everybody's fighting for positions. 3 wide, many places on the racetrack. As you see them, they're coming there off of corner number 2 down that back straightaway. Doogie up there against that outside wall. You got the 83 there of Liam Beebe down there against the inside. Now they are real tight there, and I always get nervous when cars get that tight there coming there through 3 and 4. As I was saying, I get nervous when cars get that tight. I know it can be done, but oh no, we got trouble. The 2 goes around, up there and around. There goes more havoc. Back here as the 84 is involved, Tim Richardson, the 2 down there on the inside, piling rowdy. Not sure where he's at, as he's possibly involved as well. The 84, Chad Hawkins. Jerome Cooper involved, possibly. Take a look at it here on the pole instant replay. There you see the 7 clear up there on the top side. And then it looks like the 84 Hawkins comes down and gets into the number 72. 72 goes up in front of the 77, ends up catching him off guard. And then up and around goes the 98 there of Eric Copperthorne. So Copperthorne involved. You got the 72 there of Jerome Cooper involved. We see him spinning around. Chris Schosler, Tim Richardson, all involved. Who's going to come back from this one? We got drivers coming here to pit lane once again. It's a busy place on pit road. Lap 18 of the 50. All right. Off of pit road they go. James Wagoner falls back to about 11. Jeff Scott up there in the 4th. Got Johnny Hurts that we're looking at up sitting here in 6th. Tim Richardson in that number 2 machine. He's having one heck of a night here tonight. He started towards the front. Now he's back here in 20th position right now. I would see him rolling down that backstretch. What a night so far of racing. Man, am I getting warm here in the booth. Off the corner they go. Brian Hennings out there in front. Chris Ramsey. Okay. Scratch that a little bit. Chris Ramsey out front, leading the way. as they work down here off the back stretch. All right, lights are out on that pace machine. Getting ready for the restart. Car pulled the mid. All right, here we go. Down that front straightaway, green flag gonna be back in the air as they head on down through off the start. What a move here so far. All right, down that backstretch, side by side. Off of turn 4, they go. Or, I'm sorry, off the triangle, they go down here across the stripe. Down into corner number 1. Brian Hennings out front. Jeff Scott there in second. You got that 13 and Chris Ramsey fighting down there on the inside lane. Right behind him, that's going to be Barker. Johnny Hurst up there in the 3, up there on the top side of the racetrack. I would see them all battling along there. On down, as we see that 3 now getting into the middle lane. Brian Hennings stuck up top. Jeff Scott now gets up there on top, kind of stuck in a sucker position. They roll down here through off at corner number 3 and 4. Johnny Hurst picks the leaders up down there in the middle lane. Off the corner, everybody side by side here at lap 22. Up the 50, hitting the books here. They come across the line. And oh no, the leaders get sideways. They're all wrecking. Oh no, the big one here at Talladega as the field ends up in pieces here in the corner number 1. Off the corner here, bunch of drivers involved. There you see the 83 wreck. Tony Richards involved. Jake Persilia involved down there on the bottom of the Speedway. Let's see who else. Greg Spiker involved. Chris Ramsey. James Wagoner. Chad Hawkins, Matthew Ratford. Man, a lot of drivers here. A lot of great contenders up here at the front of the pack. We'll watch them down through here. You can see the three just kind of get, I don't know if that was fully Hurst's problem. Then more wrecks happen behind them, and the few out front kind of get unscathed. Wagoner gets picked up, spun around, facing the wrong direction, ends up on the roof of another car. Here comes the 83. He's going to get picked up. Wagoner completely off the racetrack. Ends up getting set back down there in front of the 7. The 27 there involved of Ryan Hunter. The 13 of Chris Ramsey down there through the grass. Man, oh man, drivers just everywhere back here. The yellow flag is out for another time here at Talladega. Man, what are we going to have happen here tonight? Barely getting to halfway, and we're already to 3 cautions as drivers try to get around. You can see damage there on the 48 of Jake Persilia. Jeff Scott now out front as he's up 17 positions. Adam Sprinkle back here, he's up 16th position. And as I said, those drivers that say out next to their name, don't pay attention to that, because the only confirmed out of the race is that of Benjamin Richards. Everybody else is still on this track somewhere, some way. Chris Schulzler's back here. Jerome Cooper may be out completely. No, there he is. There's Jerome Cooper. He's sitting on pit road. So everybody is accounted for except for Benjamin Richards, who has been out of the race since the start, as everybody tries to get a little bit of damage repair done to these cars as they come here off of the corner. Jeff Scott up there working off pit road. Chad Hawkins as your current leader. Jeff Scott up 16 positions. Ryan Hunter up 9. Adam Sprinkle here in 4th. Pilon really hasn't gone up or down as he's sitting where he started back here in 5th. Eric Carpethorne, he's up 14. Johnny Hurst back here in 7th. Tony Richards up 15, back in 8th. And then get a little farther back, 10th, or 9th is Barker. 10th is Liam Beebe. And then Edward Fielder back here in 11th as he's gained 10 spots. So we've had a lot of movers and a lot of losers here as Jerome Cooper is down 12. James Wagoner, he's up 2 from where he started technically. Matthew Radford, they're in the 97, right there behind the 74 of Brian Ennings. They were both running up front when that caution first come out. Now they find themselves back here in 16th and 17th. They're waiting them all to get ready for the green flag. right, folks, trying to get back there as quickly as I can. All right, down here through corner number 3 and 4, 24 laps to go. And these drivers are battling it out down that back straightaway. Everybody side by side. Who's it going to be here as they battle it out? Up there at front, you've got Ryan Hunter, who's up 11 positions. Adam Sprinkle doing a great job sitting there in 4th as they roll down here onto that back straightaway. And back around out onto the front stretch. It's going to be that 27 of Ryan Hunter leading the way up there on that outside lane. Hang on to it. Don't get too impatient there, pilot. As we know, you know how to kind of push it along here in this Super Speedway series. We've seen you up front most of the time out here. Hopefully you can get some things. Oh, man, what a move down there to the inside to get around the 27 of Ryan Hunter. That's going to put Pilot now up there in front. He battles for the lead down there on the inside lane. Working there off of turn number 2 down that back straightaway. Howdy out front. Chad Hawkins there in 2nd. 3rd is going to be that 77 of Adam Sprinkle, who's had a phenomenal race himself as he's worked his way up 19 positions to get himself up there in the 3rd. You got Eric Copthorne up 16 spots, so it's still anybody's race here tonight as they head on down here in the corner number 3 and 4. Back around through the tri-oval out front. All right, here we go. Down that back straightaway in the corner number 3 and 4. They go. As you got that Reese's machine out there in front after struggling a little bit here a few laps ago and making some friends with that outside wall possibly. Now he's got it back under control, back out there in front though. As you see the pack behind him trying to gain on him, get that something moving up front. I see Greg Spiker back here towards the back in about 18th position. Still has some damage on that one. Chris Schulzler back here as well in that 61 machine. Rowdy out front, leading the way. My grid keeps jumping around here. We got Jerome Cooper back there in the 72. Jeff Scott in the 38. I thought he was still out here. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. We're on board here with Johnny Hurst. And now moved up through the field. Well, okay, now we're up here at Tony Richards. And I think that was the 38 there at Jeff Scott. I thought, maybe not. I could be wrong there. I thought maybe I saw the 38 of Jeff Scott hiding in the field somewhere. He is a lap down. I know Cooper's still out there. There you see him up there in that 72. I'm trying to figure out if Jeff Scott is out there in that 38 or not. And I think the only way to really tell is if we grab the hold of the map, but I'm not really up to doing that here tonight. 20 laps to go here at Talladega. They're 3 wide. There you see Doogie up there on the outside lane trying to make something happen. Oh, hang on to it. You saw what getting tight before happens. They work down here through off that trial. In the corner number 1 they go. Still leading the way. Out there in front now is Matt Barker. And oh no, they get loose behind him, and a couple of them end up around. There goes Johnny Hurst once again, spinning around up in front. Oh man, in front of the 7. The 7 nowhere to go. That car completely tore up here, bringing out caution flag 5. All right, let's check on it again here. As you see them get loose down there on the bottom side. There's the 84 of Chad Hawkins down there. The 3 goes up, and all of a sudden Teresa gets into the back and spins around the 2, locking it up just enough to get by. There's the 66 on the bottom side, thinking he's got it cleared, ends up getting a door full of the 3. Johnny Hurst ends up in front and then gets picked up by the 7 there of Justin Hollings. All right, so there we go. Another caution in the books. We get to about 18 laps to go. And it looks like that car, oh man, that car is possibly done for. I don't know if Hurst has his quick repair or not. That is yet to be seen. Let's see if he gets fixed up here. That'll be a no-go. So it looks like Hurst could be done. So, tough break here for Johnny Hurst. Now we got him out here. Brian Hennings there in front. Still leading the way as they come around here. 18 laps to go here at caution number 4. All right. Lights are out. We're getting ready to go. Green flag racing once again here in just a moment. Everybody gets set, ready to rock and roll. Those lights are off on that pace machine, getting ready for the start of the race. Restart of the race with about 15 laps to go, and we take the green flag. Who's it going to be? Who's going to be our winner here tonight? We see Brian Hennings out there in front, Matt Barker there in second, Piling there in third, Copperthorne in fourth, and running out your top five is Tim Richardson. Still, we're super speedway racing. It can be anybody's race. Now the pace car pulls down below that double yellow line, heading towards pit road as they come here to the tri-oval. Anybody's can win this. They get set and ready to roll. Off the speedway they go. Here in the first corner, across the stripe rather, goes Brian Hennings there in front. Piling there in second. Matthew Barker back here third. Tim Richardson fourth. Eric Copperthorne fifth. And they're side by side coming up through the field. If it's all at 98, he was involved, Eric Copperthorne, he was involved in an incident earlier in the race. But now he's back up here fighting in fifth position, trying to get up there. There you see Rowdy. He's also up there in the mix. He's currently second down there on the top side of the racetrack, trying to make a move. He's got Barker there behind him as they come up storming on that high side. Down there on the low side, you got to see Tim Richardson there. He had on up and down that is not well. We saw him way down in the grid as he works his way back up through. As here comes Wagner also there for James Wagner's Welding down there on the inside, that black and purple 30. Now they come down through off of turn number 4, back down through the tri-oval. He's sitting up there in about 7th position. Eric Copperthorne sitting 5th. Whoa, and they're already around. There goes the 10. That bottom side wall. That's going to be, well, he didn't take it as hard as the other driver. I'm trying to see who that might have been. That looks like Matt Rafford. He come and really demolished that inside wall. Coming here off the corner. You kind of see them all bunched up down there on the bottom side. You see the 30 ends up getting into it. The 10 trying to check up, ends up getting squeezed. The 70 of Spiker gets into the back of the Spiker and sends him down in there. And it looks like the 97 tried to hang on to it, and then all of a sudden gets loose and slides down there. Man, what a hit to the inside wall. As Spiker brings it around, he's going to try to keep it off that inside wall. Does a pretty good job of doing so. Coming here off. I'm not sure what threw him for. Oh, he tried to go around and end up spinning around. They both spinning around there. Man, what a tough night for some of these drivers now here towards the later going. Al Pratt, what do we got going on? That is Jimmy Piling hanging on to your lead spot. All right, off the corner they go. Everybody single file at the moment. Let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with racing in just a moment.
Roughneck Racing would like to thank our sponsor, Wagoner Welding. Wagoner Welding is a family-owned and operated business located in North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. They specialize in custom-built truck beds and framework of all types. You can reach them at 336-670-3427 or visit the shop located at 446 DeHart Church Road.
Well, all right, it's a warm one here tonight in the booth as we bring you the race here at Talladega. Lights still on. Everybody's trying to find out where they belong. All right, here we go. Working off at turn number 3. Oh, I'm sorry, turn number 2, down that back stretch. Piling out front. Barker there in second. Eric Carpenter back here in third. Brian Hennings there for Tim Richardson there in fifth. Now, I must say, Rowdy's having a pretty decent season here with the Super Speedway Series this season with Roughneck Racing. Yeah, he's got that machine dialed in and up there toward the front. Matthew Barker back here in second. Eric Carpenter in third. Brian Hennings fourth. Tim Richardson back here in fifth. Now you got the 13 there of Chris Ramsey on the outside. Ryan Hunter in seventh. Come rolling here through 3 and 4. Man, oh man, what a night of racing we have for us tonight. Now we see the pace car pulling up, getting ready for the restart here. 11 laps to go. Can we finish it out green? As lights go and turn green, we're green flag racing right about now. As we come there through off of that tri-oval, heading out here across the stripe, down here into corner number 1. Barker up there on the outside, Rowdy down there on the inside. What a battle we have there between these two drivers. They've got a couple more good ones there behind them. Eric Carpenter and Brian Hennings, as they are there behind them. And Tim Richardson, he's been up there as a contender all night long. As we said, he struggled there earlier on in the race, ended up towards the back of the pack. Now he's worked his way back up here. He's sitting in about 5th. But Eric Carpenter, what a night for him, as he is up 18 positions battling for the lead. He's down there on the bottom side below Barker. And another driver that's really been putting on a show tonight is none other than the league sponsor guy, Doogie, down there on the inside, as he is up 16 spots from where he started. We come down here, 10 to go, soon to be 9 to go. They come here across the stripe. Everybody spread out, coming through the tri-oval. Now they got to dial it back in here as they try to get that side draft to work that top lane. Really starting to dig and gain some momentum over top of that bottom lane as they come here down into corner number 1. Matt Barker sitting there on the high side. There you see Brian Hennings there in second. Rowdy there third. Chris Ramsey there in, now Chris Ramsey now up to third. All right, battle on down through here. What a night here. Great racing as they roll on down through off of corner number 3 and 4 back around, and it looked like we had smoke there. It looked like Greg Spiker once again. Oh man, what a hit there! Up on top of the wall, goes to 99 or 97 rather. Man, oh man, oh man! Caution flag once again out after that Aflac machine takes a wallop from Greg Spiker. So here, we'll take a look at it here from Greg Spiker. He's already loose down there on the bottom side. And bam, up there into the 97. Let's see if we can roll it back a little bit to see if we can catch what happened. That 97 took a ride there. Oh, the 72 gets loose. He ends up coming down there across that black machine, then back up the racetrack, and sends that 97 of Matthew Radford up there on top of the wall. Matthew Radford now pulling it down there along the bottom. I don't think he's got any steering left in that machine. He took a heck of a ride. See if we can get an onboard shot here with Matthew. Okay, that's not the one I wanted. All right, here we go. He'll watch all this unfold in front of him. Now he'll see that 10 drop down there. He's going to hopefully get by it. No, doesn't quite get by. He probably doesn't even know what hit him. He just knows 1 minute he's going, and next minute he's on the wall. All right, back under caution once again. Everybody's trying to get off the start here. Let's see who we got up there. Hey there, Jimmy. How's it going?
How's it going, Adam?
Oh, it's going well. It's a little crazy out there right now. Everybody jostling for positions. How are you feeling out there?
I'm feeling pretty good. Up here with Tim and Ace, a couple teammates, so I feel pretty good. Just gonna see if we can't make something happen.
Well, I know the laps are winding down here, and you think you have what it takes to possibly pull off a win?
I'm gonna try, but I'm gonna try to make sure it's one of the team guys at the very least.
Well, let's hope the team can get together and do so. I mean, the whole team's, I didn't quite catch who you said your team with
Tim and Matt. Parker.
Tim and Matt. Okay, so Matt right now has the lead.
Yes.
So you're going to do what you can to help him get to the finish. If not, hopefully you can take the finish, right?
Yes.
Alrighty,
Yeah, most definitely.
all right. Well, good luck to you. Looks like we're getting set to go green here in a little bit less than a half a lap. So good luck to you the rest of the way.
I appreciate it, Adam.
All right, here we go. Green or lights are out on that pace machine. Getting ready down the backstretch. Sorry if there were moments of time through the broadcast here tonight where you might have missed my voice, but I was starting to roast, so I was trying to get a fan in place. Unfortunately, I didn't get that in place before the broadcast, so hopefully, and I can feel the air slowly changing here, so that's a good thing. All right, down that back straightaway they go. Lights are off. Let's see, what's this going to have for us here as we roll off of the grid, or roll off the corner here. And you got Pyland up there on the outside, Barker down there on the inside. As you heard there from Pyland, they're both teammates, so they're both wanting to, they're going to try to work together to get Ace up there towards the win. If nothing else, hopefully Pyland can take the win for the team, but they're going to try to work together as much as they can up there at the front. Try to control the race, really, as they come down here for the restart. 6 laps to go. It'll be 5 laps when they cross the line. Some of them drivers they got to really keep an eye on, though. I'm going to keep an eye on, like Eric Copperthorne and Brian Hennings back there. Both still strong runners back here. And don't forget, don't count out Tim Richardson either down there in that number 2 machine. We saw he had a pretty decent car as well. If they can just get up there and battle it out. Coming across the stripe. Looks like Rowdy gets a decent start up there on the high side. Going to help try to control some of that as he lets Barker back down there along the bottom side. Down here out of 1 and 2. Back out on that back straightaway. 5 laps to go for the Super Speedway Series here tonight from James Wagoner Welding and Roughneck Racing. Become the lead as they come down the backstretch here heading into corner number 3. Got to be careful they don't get too close up there. We don't want them engines overheating. Down here through off that backstretch now into corner number 3 and 4. 5 laps to go as they roll around here. You see that number 29 up there out front. Barker there in second. Hennings there in third. Eric Carpethorne in fourth now as they roll down here off the corner. Up there on the top side of the racetrack. Pyland controlling that top lane. Barker controlling that inside lane. Now, he has that down there saying 1 day at a time on the back of that machine for Ace, but I would almost change it to 1 lap at a time. Almost I can bring it back here as we're on board there with Pyland Rowdy up here on the top side as they work down here off of the back straightaway, heading there in the corner number 3 and 4. Now we see that outside lane trying to get pushed along. He's going to try the best to keep Parker up into contentions down there on the inside. I see Brian Hennings trying to push along that outside lane. Everybody doing what they can. 4 laps to go. It'll be 3 laps when they cross the line here. Rowdy up there Wagner up there in the outside, and they're already sideways down there across the bottom. 80 down into the inside wall, out of the way. Green flag stays. As you see Greg Spiker rolling through the trioval now. Chad Hawkins in that 84. Problems there. Ends up meeting his maker down there on the inside wall. Hopefully he's okay. As the field rolls down the backstretch here into corner number 3. Up there on the top side above that mellow yellow number 13 of Chris Ramsey. That is Doogie up there trying to find some side draft to work along in that machine as he rolls down that back straightaway. We're going to have a race here before too long. Oh no! Hollywood guys end up upside down. That is not how they planned to have their night end. Now we see Wagner end up destroyed. There's that Matthew Barker. He's destroyed down there on the inside. The 74, Brian Hennings, pumping all kind of smoke out of that machine. And where did Pylon Rowdy end up? He's back here. All right, we're in for a green-white checker now. What a ride there. I just see them coming down through there. Not sure, that might have been, oh no, the 98 got up there into Pylon. Pylon ends up getting turned down there into the 96 of Matt. And Matt goes up in the air, up and over, and ends up landing on the hood there. Look at the carnage there coming off at 96. Man, we hope he's okay. I would see that 74 riding along that driver's side edge. All right, we're going to go on board with Matt. Oh, hang on to your hats. Oh, this is real time. He's battling down there on the inside. He's got nothing that he should worry about, and then all of a sudden he is upside down. Looking at everything upside down. Now he gets up right side up. Skating across that front stretch. Not quite the way he wanted his night to end. Wow. Yeah, that's it. Like a sprinkle. That is definitely, wow. I mean, tough night for some of these drivers. Caution number 7. Now, if you've been with us here at FFTv for a while now, you might remember we have a magic number when it comes to cautions. That magic number is 8. I don't know why, but that seems to be our magic number here at FFTv on the poll. That is our average. So, I'd be happy if we could finish it out in the next 3 laps. That'd keep the cautions at 7. But I'm also not counting out that we can also go and get that 8th caution here tonight. As hard as these drivers are battling it out here at Talladega. What a night it is. These drivers doing everything they possibly can to get up there and battle. Now we know points are on the line, as always. All right, green flag in the air, 2 laps to go. Tim Richardson out front. Now we come down through here to Chris Ramsey up there on the outside. Ryan Hunter there in third as they come rolling down through there. Eric Carpenter in there in fourth. Mike Ramsey. Down here off the corner. 3 wide. And they go around. Up there in the air goes the 7 and a bunch of cars around. Another caution as they get stacked up here. Coming out of turn number 4. As you see the 98 there. Upside down now as he ends up trying to get out of the way. As the 7 of Justin Hollings ends up putting him upside down. You got another driver there with problems. Man, oh man. Who do we have left here? Well, Richardson's out front right at the moment. Everybody else is back here and got damage on their cars somewhere. It looks like the 66 of Edward Fiedler might be a little unscathed. Teresa, we know, has been involved in a couple. The 74, we also know, has been involved in a couple. Greg Spiker there in the 8th position. James Wagner back here in 10th. Or, I'm sorry, no, he's in 9th. Man, oh man, who's it going to be? This is crazy. Work here off the corner. There you see Mike Presley coming into pit road. That's going to, and the lead is currently with Tim Richardson. Ryan Hunter there in second. Chris Schulzler back here in third. Edward Fiedler, and I'm kind of curious with this Chris Schulzler number 61, or rather, it was at 27. Trying to figure out where everybody's in line. And I'm trying to see who's going to end up lined up where. Now, we've got a lot of drivers down there on pit road, as we just saw. Now, we see pit lane really busy. A lot of torn up race cars. Now, we see one of them coming off pit road now. Going to try to see if we can get a beat on that number. Not enough there. Now, we see them rolling here out of 2. And we're going down here off the back stretch, heading into corner number 1. You have Tim Richardson there in front, Chris Schulzler there second, Edward Fiedler here third. And he is up 18 spots from where he started, so he's having a great night in that 66 Moza-sponsored machine. Well, Spring, if you're still out there watching, Richardson is out front as your leader. And we know he took a pretty good hit earlier in the race. Good to see that he's back out here, being able to compete. And they come here off of 4. Hopefully we'll get the 1 to go. And see, the lights are still on. Coming through that triangle. This is where we'll find out whether or not we'll go green next lap or not. All right, lights are out. We're going green flag next lap. And there's that magical number 8 I was telling you guys about as well. The average here at Figure Farm TV on the pole. Alrighty, here we go. Everybody wait for the restart for this one. Alright, Fred, going to pull that car down on the pit lane. Barney up there in the flag booth will get that green flag out. He's going to keep it waving for the restart of this race. High up above the flag stand here. Watching them come here out up turn number 4. Now we get set and ready. Wagoner now jumping down there to the inside lane. You can see the lap down cars back here, down here on the inside lane as well. As green flag is out, we're back green flag racing as they come here out of the trioval. Richardson getting a great restart down there on the bottom side. He's going to try to jump it up there into that middle lane as that bottom lane gets rolling here with the 74 and 66. So Richardson's going to drop back down, going to try to block it there as the 66 gets tight there in the middle between Richardson and that of the 74 of Hennings. Rolling down through the backstretch. Everybody still battling for position here as they battle on down in the corner number 3. Richardson now falling back there in the second as Teresa pushes up through and gets up there in the second position right now. Damage on that machine is going to hinder her a little bit if she ends up out in the clean air trying to push along as Richardson gets back up there towards the front. 3 wide. And, oh, no, they're 3 wide. They're squashing there behind, coming across the line. White flag in the air, and, oh, no, up in the air they go. Teresa spun around out there across the start-finish line as well as others. Edward Fiedler now up there in the second. Mike Presley here in third. What a way to start the final lap here. James Wagoner, he's up here to fourth. And they come rolling off here. There you see Liam Beebe in the 83. Bunch of damage to the front of that machine. There you see Mike Presley as he rolls along. Edward Fiedler, he's going to try to get there. He gets to the bumper. He's going to the inside. No, he's going to now go back up there to the outside. Going to try to get that run coming here off of 4. When he comes down, he's going to shoot. Well, maybe not. He's going to probably hang tight there as they roll here into the trioval. And you still have that trioval to try to make a move. As he does, he goes up there top. He goes down. No. They battle it out side by side here. They come on through off of the trioval, and it's going to be Richardson for the win. Fiedler giving it all he had there to come in second. Presley there in third. And it come down through off of the start-finish line. Liam Beebe finishes in 5th tonight. All right, there you see it. Warm one here for me in the booth. Hopefully we get some air conditioning at some point here. As they end up coming out off here with the win for Richardson at Talladega. We're waiting on the results. Let's see there, Richardson having a great night. Had some ups and downs, but made it all come through here at the end. Finally, our results come in. Your race winner, Tim Richardson, out there in front. Edward Fiedler there in second. Mike Presley third. James Wagoner there in fourth. Liam Beebe fifth. Chris Schultzler there in sixth. Brian Henning seventh. Ryan Hunter in eighth. Greg Spiker there in ninth. Jerome Cooper there in 10th. Chris Ramsey there in 11th. Tony Richards there in 12th. Justin Hollings there in 13th. Teresa Spiker in 14th. Eric Copperthorne 15th, and Jimmy Pilon back there in 16th. Matthew Barker 17th, 18th, going to, come on, thing disappearing on me. Chad Hawkins 19th, Matthew Radford, Adam Sprinkle in 20th, Johnny Hurt 21st, Jake Persilia there in 22nd, Jeff Scott 23rd, Benjamin Richards there in 24th. All right, here we go. Now, let's see, who do we have here? Hanging around for interviews. We need third place driver Mike Presley. Good evening, Mike. How's it going?
Good, buddy. How you doing, man?
A little warm, but we're doing okay.
Yeah, cool. Man.
Kind of take us through your night. Were you expecting the third place?
Yes, sir. Yeah, got me a third. I can't believe how I got through that mess there at the end, but I got through it and pulled it on.
Yeah, it was kind of a mess there towards the end.
Say what now?
I said it was kind of a mess there at the end.
Yeah, it was. You know, I seen them kind of go left and right, and I had to find me a little path through the middle, and I found it. I didn't earlier, you know, I had to use my fast repair and all that, but I finally found through that one at the end, so it paid off, but yeah, my heart's still beating.
Well, sometimes all you can do is point your car to clean air and hope and pray, right?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Well, congrats on getting third place tonight. You got sponsors or shout-outs you want to thank for getting you into third place here tonight.
Yeah, man, I just want to appreciate everybody, you know, in this league. It's been, this is my first season, and I thank everybody for being kind, and you know, a shout-out for the league.
All right, well, congrats there for third place tonight, and hopefully you can continue this momentum going forward in the season.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, have a great night. All right, having Mike Presley now to get with our second place finisher, Edward Fiedler, hopefully. Good evening, Edward. How's it going?
Hello there. It's going pretty good, thank you.
Well, you made it through the mess there at the end, got yourself a second place finish, had to come up through the field quite a bit to make it happen. Kind of take us through your night here tonight.
Well, I know these cars here, they're pretty hard to draft with. If you get into somebody too hard in the back, you lift them up and spin them out. You know, I was expecting a lot of wrecks, so I just hung out at the back, let everybody, you know, crash out and took the spots as it came to me.
Well, it seemed to work out for you as you come home with second place here tonight. Did you happen to race last week in the Next Gens?
Yeah, I think I was in that one. Yeah.
Yeah, because we were here at Talladega. I was just curious, how much the track changes between those two cars.
Well, you know, the track pretty much stays the same, but yeah, with the way the cars draft, you know, you can't really push with these cars, you know, not like you can with the Next Gens or the other ones because that slanted nose. You know, it's more about the car than the track, about the way the cars push.
Well, once again, congrats on second place tonight. You got any sponsors or shout-outs you want to give here for helping you get into that second place podium position?
Yeah, I'd like to have a shout out to all the guys back there at VRX. Yeah, that's some good teamwork there. Good job, everybody. Can't wait for the next one.
All righty. Well, we look forward to seeing you in more races this season. Great job here getting that second place, and we'll see you around. Great job tonight.
Thank you very much.
All right. Good evening here, Tim. How's it going?
How's it going, Adam? How are you, buddy?
Well, like I was saying others, I'm a little warm. I got every fan in the dang place going as much as I can. It still seems a little warm. That's what I get for having my broadcast. That's what I get for having the broadcast in the attic, right?
Ooh, yeah, that'll probably do it.
Yeah, I've got a few people on the hunt for an air conditioner for me.
For sure.
But
you definitely need one up there if you're doing that in the attic.
Yeah. But that's the most quiet place I have. It gets me away from the house, from everything in the house. No barking dogs, nothing. It can be nice and peaceful. It just gets a little warm. Wintertime, it's great. I love it up here in the winter.
Oh, that.
But congrats on getting that win tonight. I know you kind of ended up caught up in a couple incidences here tonight, and you battled back from them and ended up coming back up there and taking the win.
Yeah, just trying to weather the storm and stay disciplined. A lot of practice went into to tonight. We had a really good 2-hour practice yesterday. A couple of guys showed up, and we kind of figured out what the cars do in traffic, and I was prepared tonight. I felt confident behind the wheel. It got scary there for a bit. You know, when you start dropping back in the pack, you never know what's going to happen. The goal was to stay up front. We decided to pit and take fuel that first caution.
Well, I mean, truthfully, your super speedway racing, it can happen anywhere in that pack.
It can. We saw it happen everywhere tonight. It happened up front. It happened in the back. It happened in the middle. That's plate racing, man. You just got to survive. You just got to be there at the end. And
I mean, we had
I'll
two.
have to go back and I'll have to go back and watch it. There was a few incidents where I felt like I was really willing it through those wrecks not to get into people. So that'll be fun to go back and watch. But it was just about survival today, man.
Well, and unfortunately, some drivers, they didn't quite have that the Lady Luck on their side for survival. I mean, we saw both Pylon and Matt, Ace, Pylon and Ace, we saw them. They had great cars. They were running up front. Next thing we know, they're in the back blown up.
Yeah, it was a rough night for all my teammates. I felt bad for them. They all ran really good. Every single one of them. I was literally the last man standing for our race team tonight, and I'm just glad I could bring it home for them. I wish they would have been there with me at the end. It's just one of those races, man.
It is. And like you said, it's super speedway, plate race, and anything can happen. It's anybody's race.
Absolutely, anybody can win at a plate race, and here that's my second career win, so I'll take it. I wish we would have had some more, more than 13 cars on the lead lap there at the end, but this Gen 4 car is it's a lot to handle if you're not used to riding in it. So,
well, congrats. You got sponsors or shout-outs you want to give for helping you get up there into the podium tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Always got to thank James Wagoner Welding. Couldn't do it without Uncle Jamie. Of course, every time I win a race, it's 100% for him. So this second win on the season is absolutely 100% for Jamie and James Wagoner Welding. Couldn't do it without him. Thank you for the broadcast, Adam. As always, thank you, Speed Zone Race Control, Pottles for doing our RC work for us. Thanks to all the drivers, man. Thanks to my teammates, Johnny, Jimmy, Ace, Adam. We've got a good little group. We're fast when we're together. We're definitely we're not going away. The races that I'll get to race this season, I'm definitely going to try to win. Unfortunately, I think the next 2 Mondays I'll be at the ball field, so I won't get to race. So this will be a good one to put in the wagon and try to get back in winner's circle when I get back from softball.
All righty. Well, congrats on that victory tonight, and good luck the next couple of weeks, and we'll see you back here when you're able to.
Hey, thanks, buddy. You have a good night.
You too there, Tim. All right, that was Tim Richardson, our winner here tonight from Victory Lane. Your host, Adam Fleeger, here at Fleeger Farm TV. On the pole, we are getting ready to head out from the Talladega Super Speedway, as we had a great night of racing. A lot of action here. And thank you all for staying tuned in and watching. And if you're really enjoying some racing action, we got something in store here coming up here in just a little while. Be sure to check back here at Fleeger Farm TV, as we will have the Wriggle Reps and Designs GT3 Series from the Freedom Motorsports Alliance Racing League. Thank you so much for watching.
Say how I feel, to know I let you down. 'Cause late nights turn to days, don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart, heart, heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart. If it's only half of your heart. I feel like I'm afraid of the other things.